Less about your upbringing in Sikkim and what inspired you to become a filmmaker.
Um, I think I most of my part I spent in the hostel. I think since class six I went to the hostel. So I don't know. I think there was a very strong feeling of just, always wanting to stay back. That's why I think that is one of the reasons why I didn't go to Bombay like most of my friends, because I always wanted to come back home and tell the story about people around me. And I think there's not one particular reason why I wanted to, make films. I think there are different factors involved. I mean, for anybody to, choose a profession, I think there are very different reasons involved. But I think mostly, um, um, last time I was just thinking why I wanted to become a filmmaker because I get asked that all the time. So I was just thinking about how I was very little, and I live in a village where I think road came. Matlab, it's been 3, 4 years since the road has come to my house, like properly. Otherwise, I almost had to walk like almost a kilometer to reach my house. And my friends would be like, "We are not going to your house because we have to walk a lot." So then I remember when I was small, in the like a kid in the village, you look in the TVs and all of that, and especially in the hill stations, you see that when someone goes to say Indian Idol or gains little bit of attention, media attention, chief minister will construct a road to their house. So I always thought that maybe if I do something, that if I do something, the road aa jayega ghar mein. That was what I was thinking all the while. So, but yeah, I think it has to do with a lot of for us, like our parents and my mother especially always used to tell us stories before going to sleep in the night. Every day we used to demand her ki, tell us a new story, so all these factors, I think orally she started telling stories to us, and I think deep inside this idea of storytelling maybe tab generate hua. That's what I feel, but I think there are many factors. Teachers are involved, and they told me maybe you should go to the film school, so all of those things are there, not one reason.
Okay, okay. So you're talking about film school. So how has your education at SRFTI like helped in your journey as a filmmaker?
Oh, I think it has been absolutely um, empowering to go to a film school, and because especially coming from a place like Sikkim that has uh, the filmmaking industry is almost like it's still at its nascent stage. It's almost like it's not there. So had I not gone to a film school, I don't think I would be making the same kind of films right now, because the kind of books and the kind of films that I was able to watch there, the kind of friends that I have now, and I think film school is such a safe space where they give you this, I don't know, a lot of confidence, and they give you a chance to make mistakes. Nobody allows you that. Once your professional career kickstarts, you you can't. There's immense pressure. But I think just to be able to watch films and just to talk about it and with your friends, and that is the only safest place, I feel, So it has been very instrumental, especially for a person like me coming from Sikkim, because I do not have any relation to the industry people. So when I want to shoot a film, to get someone professional, I don't know how to navigate that part. Just because I have been in film school, you have a very strong alumni association and your friend circle. So if I tell I'm going to shoot in Sikkim, I know 5 people who will be ready to come on board in the for the project. So that way, I think it's very empowering that I still have that option, to still stay in a remote place, but have access to really professional people who are working in the industry. So I think, yeah, that has been really helpful.
Okay. So you always wanted to go to SRFTI or like there's also FTI as well?
No, I had in the last year of my college, I wanted to be a journalist. like write, because I was only good at writing. So I was like, I will write soft feature stories about things and people, and that's how I'm going to earn my living. That's what I really thought. But coincidentally, I was always made the leader of a group while we were like made to ask films, and coincidentally, we always won the competitions. So my professor was like, you keep on winning, maybe you are good at it, you should do this. And he told me, when he first told me about film school, he said, if you join a film school, you don't have to study. That's what he told me. You will be given marks on the basis of your on the basis of the films that you make. I was like, this is like a dream come true, somewhere where I don't have to study, I just have to make films, and they will seriously promote me on the basis of that. So I said, great. And he's like, and there are theaters, big, big theaters, and then you can watch films every day. So I was really intrigued by that. So the year I finished my graduation, I think they were having 0 year in FTII, and only SRFTI was open. But I think my choice would always be SRFTI. Like I said, I always wanted to stay closer to my house. So Kolkata was like a night's train journey from my house. If I studied in FTI, God knows how long it would take. So it was just a matter of coincidence, and yeah, and I think because I studied in North Bengal College for my graduation for mass communication, we read a lot about Satyajit Ray, Ritvik Ghatak, and also my mother has a North Bengal connection, so I always had this softer this thing towards Bengali cinema as well. So I thought, why not? Satyajit Ray is the best place to go.
Truly, truly, truly. So there's always the debate like whether one should go to a film school or don't go to a film school to become a filmmaker. Like it's subjective kind of a thing. So that's not my question. My question is like I'm a film student as well. I want to become a filmmaker in future. So what are the most important things like in the film school that you should keep in mind? So to grow as a filmmaker for a film student.
I think, like I already said, once you are out of film school, there is no place for you to make mistakes. So that is really the place where you try to develop, and there are opportunities where you will really get to discover your voice in terms of cinematic voice, your cinematic language. So there will be times you will fall, but you will pick yourself again, and you can do it all over again because you are in the school, because that is what the place is meant to do for you. So I think. Uh, like in the beginning, I really didn't know what was cinematic voice, what is cinematic language. These are the vague these things everybody used. I was like, "ये क्या होता है?" I was like, how will I find out? Then I realized that and it is not like everybody knows what they want to say, or how they want to say it. So what I learned is, I have always seen, and especially from then on, I realized is, I've seen a lot of people actually start making the kind of films that they like. Like if you like a certain filmmaker, you try to write like that, you try to edit like that, you try to shoot like that, and eventually over the period of time, after you make 3 4 short films, you know then maybe you are aware of, no, okay, I like this filmmaker, but this is not exactly how I want to say it. Nobody says that this is the process. Everybody says, can I find your voice, find your voice? I was like, how to find it? I was not even sure. And this is my, I think, I always used to make experimental kind of short films when I was in film school, and this is my only second proper narrative film, my debut film, because my diploma was my first proper narrative film. Like I always used to write experimental films. So then I understood ki, okay, that's how you develop something. Sometimes uh, it's not like everybody knows what they want to say, everybody does not know how they want to say it, and sometimes it is like कि if you like something, maybe you imitate little bit, you get inspired by it, and on the way you find it. So I think that's how it will be for all the people who go to film school, I think, because there are teachers that will help you, there are teachers that you feel like aren't helpful to your journey, but I think it is up to you. I hope I was not being too vague because
No,
we
no.
tend to use a lot of, yeah, we tend to use find your voice. मुझे लगता है भाई ये voice क्या है? So basically it's like आपके craft के बारे में ये कैसे how to get hold of it is I think the main thing in film school.
Yeah, totally, totally agree. So you have directed several short films, including As It Is and others like A House Full of Women, which earned you a Fazir International Film Festival grant even before making Shape of Momo. So how did working on these short films prepare you for your feature film?
Like I said, I think that was As It Is was my first narrative that I wrote. And when I wrote it, I was like, how do I write the script? I have no clue, So I really struggled with that. But I think that also became stepping stone to this film of mine, because my diploma film, As It is also about a house full of women. And the short film that I pitched in Fajr International Film Festival, the story is also about three generation women, like the grandmother, mother, and our protagonist. So Shape of Momo is also, you can say, extension of that, but I think it is deeply inspired by my personal life. Not necessarily the plots are same or like that, but I think a lot of characters, other characters that I see around in my house, in my family, in my village. So and I think I could not move past this thing. I made a short film, but because I said it was my first narrative. I didn't know how to make the film, this, that. I could not move past the fact that कि मैंने properly नहीं बोला है. So I was like, with all complexities, with all my writing, I have to put the film together. So I think so. That's why Shape of Momo happened.
Okay, okay, brilliant. So let's talk about Shape of Momo. Like before even like debuting or premiering it is making waves. So could you share like how the idea came for Shape of Momo and how many script labs have the script gone through and how have those script labs helped the film?
So I was basically, the film was completely different from what it is right now in the beginning, because I was writing it on my own, and I believe it explores the so to tell you briefly, the film explores the complexities of being a woman in a society that is caught between change and tradition. Okay, it's like a woman like me, and I always wanted to, after coming back from Kolkata, I was like, I always felt out of place because I was like, I don't know, maybe, sometimes you feel like you're too good for the place. It's like you have got this professional training and you don't know how to use it. And next day you are like, no, I am not good enough. I don't know anything. These people are brilliant. So all of that, it's always a mixed feeling. So I thought I have to explore this complexity, of being this, and especially I have not seen that in a rural setup for women in our region, a story like that where the main protagonist is a woman in her 30s and she is confused about something. It's always about men and we are trying to support them. It has always been like that. So yeah, so I decided to write, and when initially I wrote the film, I wrote it long back, and it got selected in I think Dog School Clinic Kathmandu. That time the protagonist was, I think, sub inspector, because I thought I have to put this woman in a position of power. And in small villages, sub inspector is a big deal. I mean, they are as big as, let's say, member of legislative assembly, like a MLA. So I thought isko position of power mein dalna hai, because my this thing was, my point of writing the script was just to show कि भाई the society is wrong here. See, this is my take, okay, that. And then I think Kisley, if you know, he's the co-writer, he's the co-editor, he's also the co-producer. He's made a film called Just Like That. So he came on board as the co-writer. So when he came, मेरी आंखें खुल गई because it was like just me ranting about my problems. I was just subjectively saying कि this is wrong with the society, this is happening to the women, we are the victims. And then when he came on board, he brought a lot of objectivity. Then we started to make the character more complex. Like we just not make मतलब वो victim है, but at the same time, when chances are given, she becomes she becomes the perpetrator. She's like a modern woman is very complex, that sometimes she is there are things that happen to her, but there are also things that she does, and we also have tried to involve a lot of factors. Like if you see class ka wo bhi hai, like sometimes you feel like a woman from uh, upper class is sometimes you see in the cities that she's more powerful than, say, a man from a lower class. But there are some situations, especially if you see कि 12 बजे रात में, if there's a woman and there's a man, the class does not matter at all. If you are in the middle of the road and nobody is there, class does not matter. So we have tried to see the gender politics from every other angle. So yeah, so I think Kisle brought a lot of objectivity. We try to push for a story that is very complex. I mean, we just don't say, these people are the victim. We say, even in the absence of male, in a house full of women, you can see shades of patriarchy. Not necessarily patriarchy has to be between you and me. If there are just two women, we are brought up in such a way, you don't need a man, to make us to make ourselves feel inferior. वो already दिमाग में बचपन से is there कि, like, my brother will have drink his tea before me. It's always there. So not necessarily the brother has to be in the room. So yeah, we have tried to explore all of that.
Okay, okay, brilliant. And the script labs it has travel.
Script lab. So we went to Dog School Clinic, Kathmandu, and after that, I think we went to PAS Dharamshala में जो three continents का वो होता है. So we went there. I think those are the two labs. And after that, I think after the film was ready, we went to work in progress lab, Film Bazaar, and Hong Kong have HKIFF uh, work in progress market. But I think the experience that we had in Film Bazaar and FDC was amazing, because the mentors that we got, I mean, it is not necessarily कि उस दौरान क्या होता है, but after that, after the lab, we kept in touch, and they have been instrumental in terms of editing. I mean, obviously we had written a lot, we had shot a lot, and to bring it down, we really needed guidance. So labs really help you with all kind of things.
Okay, okay, brilliant. The film is also a co-production between India and South Korea. So how does this
Yes, yes.
collaboration came about?
Oh, there are so many. So I think when you go to film school, they will only teach you how to make films. After you make, there's another film school that I think one needs to go, especially if you are independent filmmakers like us. If you are an independent producer, uh, director, and producer, oh my God, you really can't stop working. So I think to bring Korea was a lot of costs were also involved. So we were like, "Ki thoda, they will take care of it," because they came on board after the film was ready. We are still in negotiation right now with several other investors who are from different countries. So I don't know. By the time we finally screen the film, there will be more co-producers on board. So that happened, and I think the best thing that happened with us was Mike Goodrich, who is also the one of the executive producers of the film. So Mike is, I think he is one of the producers for Santosh.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. But I know him because of his film A Triangle of Sadness. He was one of the, I think, co-producers there. So the thing is, Kisle was in touch with Mike, and he said, "We have made this film. Would you like to watch it?" And he watched the film, and after that, we were on a video call for an hour, and I was like, and he was like, you know what, this, I don't know where this place Sikkim is. I don't know who these people are. I felt so deeply for them. And it's like, of course, it happened in your village in India, in Sikkim, but this could happen anywhere in UK. So so he was like, and that was like such a moral boost for us, because we were in the initial stages of our edit. And to have someone who has been in this industry for a long time to say something like that, we were really happy. And later on, and he really helped us in so many things, like festival strategy, this, that. And then we approached him, would you like to come on board? And he was like, I was more than happy. And we were really happy because I think, sometimes when you're, especially for me, it's my debut film, so I try to get in touch with somebody, they don't reply to your mails. So when I say, my Goodrich is our executive producer, they get back to you. So I was like, Mike, this is so helpful. So yeah, so I think all the kinds of collaborations has been really helpful in putting a small film from Sikkim, out there, so that people relate, respond. So yeah,
Yeah, totally. Mike Godre is one of the biggest producers. Like, first of all,
yeah,
congratulations.
yeah. Thank you.
So the film has also won HAF Goes to Cannes Award at the Hong Kong International Film Festival market. So what has that recognition and the opportunity to showcase at the Cannes Master Film meant for Shape of Momo in terms of visibility, funding, and distribution?
Mm, I think when we celebrated it a lot, and people don't understand that festival and market is not the same thing. So here in Sikkim, it was a big thing that we were going to Cannes, but I think we were more or less prepared because another Nepali filmmaker, his name is Saurav Rai, he had been to have goes to
Gorakhs,
Cannes,
yeah.
this thing, and yeah. So he had told me, ki, Baini, this is what happens. I was like, okay. So when we went there, it was a lot of running around, lot of running around. So basically, half takes you, and you get to just screen your promo only, and then pitch to the festival programmers whom they call and you call. So it's just bunch of people, and then you're pitching. But most of the time, I think what we tried to do is we tried to find lots of distributors and sales agents for the film. So we were just running around, going to one booth to another booth and trying to confirm. And it's like, and it is also, I mean, they give you award and all of that, but there's a lot of cost involved, especially for independent filmmakers like us. I mean, just to have that money to go there and do those things, it's very uh, tedious, I think. So yeah, so most of the times we were also trying to watch films because we were in the market. So whatever films were screening in the festival were also screening in the market, and we could watch it. So we were trying to go there, and just to go to the market, there were festival badges which was costing us last minute, I think 60,000 rupees one badge. And we were like, "Bhai, ab team se ek hi insan jayega, we can't afford it." So I was thinking, oh, we are going, but we won't be able to. But thankfully, some of our friends, and one of our mentors from the Film Bazaar, they helped. And last minute, we got two badges. So finally, we were able to make it. So it was very tedious and taxing because I was like, everybody's just selling films, buying films, and I'm like, if so many films are being made, what am I doing? What is the point of making the film when so many people are there trying to make the film, trying to sell the film? But I think it was overall it was an eye-opening experience for us. Now I am very tired of film markets. I'm like, people are like, do you want to go to the film market? I am done. It's like for this season I am done. So yeah, it was a bit tedious.
So the film has like traveled so much in various film markets. So the money is spent by you or like you got it producer?
No, no, we spent most of the, I think Hong Kong covered for everything. For Cannes, we had to spend. In NFDC, basically, you have to pay for your travel and everything. So it looks like, in some festivals, it's like they pay for everything. In some, they don't. So it again depends on this thing. But most of the times, you have to spend a lot of money. I'm like, oh my God. I just hope, because it is very difficult to find a producer to back a film like this, especially a Nepali film, because we don't have a record of a Nepali film being sold to OTT platforms. There is one, but obviously it is a Priyanka Chopra production house film, so that doesn't really make a difference for us. So it is very difficult to find producers for films like ours. But when we don't get producers, I think it just pushes you to do a lot. I mean, for this film, primary producer is my mother, who's a retired government teacher. she's put in a lot of her retirement money. I have put in a lot of my own money, and this Kisley has a production house. Even he has put a lot of money. So it's like just friends coming to tell the stories together because we really want to. So yeah, otherwise I don't think it is possible to make films here in Sikkim, especially given the feasibility, geographical location that every other city is so far away from Sikkim. Like, the other day I was doing a podcast with a Turkish guy and I was trying to explain him, I got my camera from 10,000 miles away. I got my lighting equipments and license from 4,000, no, it was like 400 miles away and camera from 1,000 miles away. He was like, where do you live? Where do you live? So it's like that, it's been such a struggle.
Okay, okay. So we have talked about the production. Let's talk about the casting process. What was the casting process like and working with actors?
Casting was again because it's Sikkim has no industry as such, so it was very difficult to find actors, and especially I wanted the protagonist because it is not, like I told you, it is deeply personal, but again it's not my story, but somehow it is related to me. So I wanted someone who looks like me. And because growing up, I never saw someone who looked like me on the bigger screen or as a hero of the story. So I was like, "Bhai, at least when I'm making the film, I will make sure that it has to be someone like me." So I went asking around, especially Dharamshala ke time mein, there was another Nepali project that was in the PAS lab from Nepal. So I told them, I am looking for, since we were pitching with each other, we knew ki matlab kiska story kaisa hai. So I told them, I am looking for someone who looks like me. So there was this a director, fellow director. He said, "This girl." So he suggested me a girl. So that happened, and everyone I met from Nepal who came to Sikkim, I kept on asking, "Ki, bhai, please suggest कि मेरे जैसा कोई दिखता है तो बता दो यार." And then there's another friend of mine. He also suggested the same girl. So I was like, okay, great. Two people have suggested the same girl. So it is somewhere in the back of my head. I was like, okay, maybe I have to audition her. So we sent out audition calls, and coincidentally, the same actress, she applied for the audition. Matlab, she sent in her auditions. I saw it and I was like, oh, she's the one, she's the one. So Kisley and me, we also were the casting directors. So he's like, no, because he has experience in theater and he's already made a feature film. So he's like, itna jaldi we don't lock in. I said, no, I am not doing, she's the one. So we were like, he was still like, okay, let her get to Sikkim, we'll audition her, we'll do some workshop and we'll finalize. So she lives a part time in Nepal and part time in UK. So when she was in Nepal, we called her. She came here. We did a workshop just with her for a week, just to see how it looks. We tried some scenes and all of that, and I was like, done. So yeah, so that was pretty magical. But apart from finding her, we had a difficult time with other characters because in Sikkim and Darjeeling, very limited people are professionally trained. And so when we sent out audition calls, they used to call me and they're like, because it's such a small community, everybody knows everybody. They're like, I don't know why you're taking auditions. I'm the best actress in this region, so I don't get the whole point. So I was like, when we are auditioning, we are not trying to see you, are you the best actor or not? We have a part and we are trying to see whether you fit that part. Because that will be a job easier for us if you fit the part, then I have to work less harder. So they were like, okay, okay. And they used to send auditions. Some of them didn't even send auditions. And, again, it was just team of me and Kisle. So we were just like doing this, that. So finally we found, and surprisingly, everybody, even Kisle was saying that he had two actors always for a role. कि ये नहीं होगा तो ये बैकअप मेरा कोई बैकअप नहीं है भाई. It's like, if something happens, I am gone, I am doomed, I have no backup. So that happened, and I think the most beautiful thing about this whole casting was casting the grandmother. So, to get a professional grandmother who is in her 70s from Nepal was a big thing. And also, there's a dialect difference in Sikkim and in Nepal. I mean, there people speak more refined Nepali. यहाँ पे हम लोग, like, Darjeeling is a bit more कूलर, मतलब थोड़ा थोड़ा कूल बात करते हैं यहाँ पे, फिर थोड़ा कूल, वहां तो एकदम सोफिस्टिकेटेड है. तो it was again, I was like, if I get with younger actors, it is easy to tell them कि ऐसे बात मत करो, सिक्किम में ऐसे बात होता है. But I will not be able to do that with older women. And then also the fact to get them there, most of them are not in a good health, so they are like, tum le to jaogi fir bimar ho gaya tha." So I was like, oh my god. Then I started auditioning my own relatives. It's like, I will whatever it is. So I went to different villages, and I was like, I'm making a film, let's do this. So I was auditioning a particular woman that time. Both of them were my relative. That time another relative dropped in, and she was like, मैं तो पूजा से आई हूँ, यहीं पे बैठी हूँ. मैंने बोला, आप भी audition कर लो ना. So she's like, okay, I will do it. And she did it, and she did fine for her age. And given the exposure, matlab the people from my place, I mean, people like me would be confident in front of camera, but they have never had this exposure. So I was like, a bit shocked also. She's quite smart and everything. So, and Kisle was like, no, we have to think maybe. I was like, I have already too much on the plate. I have fixed. She is our grandmother. I was like that. So when she came for the shoot, also we were not so sure ki how it will come in the translate in the screen. So हमने उनको मतलब जितना हो सके कम डाला फिल्म में. फिल्म में मतलब कैमरा में, like if there is a group shot, we always try to, also it was freezing during the winter, so उनको घर जाना होता था. So I was like, please stay in the location. She's like, nahi, I have to go tomorrow. I have things to do. So at 4 o'clock, sometimes in the morning, we have to send her back because she has to go to her house. And it was like, we call her. I was like, please come tomorrow. You have. She's like, no, I have a wedding to attend. I have a funeral to attend. I can't come. So I was like, oh my god, she doesn't even know what film is. All of that. And then when we sat during the edit, she blew us all. Everybody. We were like, yaar, why? हमने इनको ज़्यादा क्यों नहीं रखा? Because it worked so well with her. Everybody, when they watch the film, I think grandmother is one of the favorite part that stays with them. They are like, where did you find this woman? And she was so smart, but um, unfortunately, I think she passed away 3 months back. She couldn't see the film, so when we were editing the film, I was like, अब मैं दिखा तो नहीं पाई, but I'm sure wherever she is, maybe उन्होंने देख लिया होगा या देखेंगी. So yeah, that was there. It was very unfortunate. So when I went to meet her in the hospital, she was like, "See, the director is here. She told me the shoot will take 2 days, and they kept on shooting for 40 days. It was tiring. She lied to me." So that was the last conversation we had. But she's done such a great job. I think the whole village and the entire community will be very proud of her. So yeah, that was the casting process, more or less, auditioning and doing this, that. So yeah.
Brilliant, brilliant, brilliant. So it's Sikkim, so the location is quite challenging. So what were the difficulties you faced while shooting the film?
Like I told you, it was very cold. People kept falling sick left, right, and center. And it was crazy kind of cough that one you could not control. So when we are rolling, one of the crew, कोई तो खांसेगा और लंबा खांसेगा और रोक भी नहीं सकते. And you can even scold because it's like, it's really serious. So that kind of cough was there. And then I think apart from, I mean, while shooting, technical problems तो वही थे कि इतनी ठंड होती थी, generator would stop working. And now the closest city, Siliguri, is like 5 hours drive from my house. So for that generator to go to Siliguri and fix and come back, or for them to send a new generator, it would take an entire day. So the whole day is gone. And towards the end, we had become such an expert. We used to just video call those guys and say, "देखो देखो ये बत्ती जल रही है, ये बत्ती जल रही है, कौन सा press करना है, कैसे restart करते हैं?" Because we were so tired of spending so much money, and the time was going, and then to get a engineer to come to my place and fix it, it was crazy. And also, I think if you see the film, it has been totally shot. 70% of the film has been shot in my own house because I wanted, yeah, because I was like, the experience of shooting in somebody's house, I know as film school students, you will say ki bhai 2 घंटा shoot karenge uncle, and it takes 8 hours, and nobody will give you that. And we were trying to find houses around my village, but it was, I was like, हम एक बार shoot करेंगे, light लगाएंगे, कुछ गिर जाएगा, something will happen, it will not work. Also, when we were doing short division, in our head, Kisle and me, we had mostly done it in this house where I live. So that way, it only felt right to shoot in this house. And also, I think this is where I've experienced so many things, and I live with my mother and my sister and my niece. So it is actually a house full of women. So so this place also has a lot to offer in terms of story wise. I think it had a lot to offer. So we shot most of it here, 70%. So the another challenge was to to stay in the same house and shoot, because we are shooting and we are sleeping here only, and लगता है कि ऊपर का light गिर जाएगा आज अपने ऊपर. So all those things were there, but I think technically, yeah, that were the kind of difficulties we faced. But because I also was working with most of my crew members, all of them were from SRFTI and FTI. So I think there was a very good understanding about वो कैसे काम करते हैं हम लोग. So that ways it really helped, and थोड़ा अच्छा हुआ.
Okay, okay, brilliant, brilliant. So, how much time it took to like from your initial idea to complete the film? How much time it took?
I think it took a lot of time when I was all alone, because I didn't know how to navigate it. Because मुझे बाद में पता चला कि जब आप शॉर्ट फिल्म से feature length लिखते हो क्या होता है. Because I'm used to writing short film scripts, so I'm like हो जाएगा, but then and then when you're writing feature length, उसका progression कैसे हो रहा है, structure कहाँ जा रहा है, pacing क्या है, कुछ नहीं पता होता है. So it took me a lot when I was writing on my own. I think after Kisley came on board, I think in two years we logged the script, and and then we started shooting it. So we finished shooting the film 2024 May. And then I took again a lot of time to edit, I think, because first assembly my co-editor Anil did, and then I stayed with the footage for a long time. Then I was like nahi ho raha hai. Then again Kisle came on board as a co-editor, you know so it took a lot of time. But again, to make indie films is not just about completing it. There's a whole festival strategy that I didn't knew existed. तो अब मुझे पता चला है कब शूट करके कब फिल्म रेडी करोगे आप, तो फिल्म के लिए अच्छा होगा. No, otherwise it's like you just shoot and finish. But then I understood, oh my god, this strategy is very dangerous. So yeah, so it took, I think, तो 2024 में हमने शूट खत्म किया. 25 में it's almost ready now.
It's finished.
Yeah, it is finished. I mean, we are just waiting. Final grade होना बाकी है. बाकी तो everything almost ready.
The film is right now selected in San Sebastian Festival in New Directors category. So, how nervous are you? How excited are you for the film?
First of all, I'm just getting to know about these festivals now. Before that, I was like, Saint Sebastian, क्या है, क्या नहीं है? I had no clue. But I am I don't think I am very nervous. I am very excited to know how people will react, because initially from what uh, the kind of feedback that I was getting from a lot of people was very different from the kind of feedback that I'm getting now after the film is ready. So and sometimes the feedback that I get are so overwhelming, because you have put in so much hard work to make a film, and the other person exactly understands what you're trying to say. So I am like, आंखों में आंसू आ जाते हैं, इतना हार्ड वर्क किया है कि ये हो रहा है. So I am very excited actually to see how people will react to the film overall, and just waiting, because my mother also, she's really supported me. So my only thing I'm excited about right now is, and I have not showed her the film, so whenever I'm editing na, she comes and she's like, थोड़ा सा तो दिखा दो, थोड़ा सा तो दिखा दो. I said no, the feeling of watching it on a big the screen together as a team is very different. So मैंने रखा है उनको. But we are really grateful, I think, especially new directors section, where they give a chance opportunity to first time and second time directors from all over the world. So to be one of the only Indian films there, it feels very special. It feels like our hard work is being recognized. But deep inside, this is not overconfidence. Deep inside, I feel like we always knew we have made a good film. With or without selection, we would be the same team members, same bunch of filmmakers were striving to make good films for us. I mean, the films that matter to us, and we wanted to tell the story honestly. So it's like अच्छी बात है कि because of this now I don't have to work a lot. कि market में distribution में with this selection we have already gotten a lot of good opportunities, a lot of good collaborations, you know. So that way it's we are really happy.
Film festival is just for the visibility of the film.
विजिबिलिटी ले जब तक नहीं मिलता तब तक सब कुछ ये लगता है, मिलने के बाद लगता है कि you know now yeah, yeah. So it's like as long as you know you don't make it to film school, you're like, you know, you have to go to film school. After you go to film school, it's like ठीक है गए तो ठीक है, नहीं गए तो ठीक है. So yeah.
So, like, are there any films and filmmakers that have influenced you a lot, like your favorite films?
Oh, only yesterday I was sharing it with one of my friends, and he was like, "Tell me your top five films." I was like, "Pass to me or something." So I think you know when I first got admission in SFTI, Emil Kusturica was my favorite filmmaker, and I really used to love all his films, Underground, When Father Was Away on Business, and all of that. And now after film school, it's like just the opposite. I think right now one of my favorite filmmakers has to be Nuri Bilge Ceylan. His film Winter Sleep is my most favorite film. I mean, how can somebody explore human nature as deeply and as complexly as Jailan? You know, it's. I mean that film. I also understood in the beginning. I didn't know how to watch a film. You know, even when I was in film school, people used to say, "Ki bhai, uh, this is good film, this is bad film," and I was like, "When will I learn to, you know, मैं कैसे review करूँ, कैसे वो करूँ?" So then I started trusting my instinct. You know, if from deep inside, when you watch the film, you feel certain emotions, you don't use your brain saying he's a master filmmaker, so you know the film has to be. Don't use all of that. So if you have watched Winter Sleep, obviously I know. So you know that section where the brother and sister talk to each other inside the room for I don't know, it is like half an hour. When that section happened, I felt it happened in 5 minutes. So that time I knew कि भाई ये क्या अचीव किया है कि इतनी डीप कॉन्वर्सेशंस हो रही है और ऐसा लग रहा है 5 मिनट में हो रही है. So that was that. But I also like all of his other films. Once Upon a Time in Anatolia, this thing, Climates, Uzak. Uzak is, I mean, oh my God. So yeah, so I think Nuri Bilge Ceylan. But in terms of if you see मेरा रीजन तो मुझे जिया जंग का भी बहुत अच्छा लगता है क्योंकि you know I find a lot of I never found similarities between the culture of Northeast India and mainland India, you know, no matter what. But when I suddenly started watching Apichatpong's films or Zia Zanka's films, there are certain nuances that are in our society. So, like when people die in our society, in the funeral, you give money, like a gift, like how you give in the this thing. So I saw that in Zia Zanka's film, and I was like, oh my god. So I think culturally we have a lot of resemblance, and I really like how Zia Zanka, you know, portrays the change of place without really portraying it. You know, you will see in the background कि culturally or industrially मतलब इतना change development हो रहा है पीछे background में that the film is not really about that. Maybe it is saying like say pickpocket है लेकिन पीछे इतना changes हो रहे हैं society में वो दिखता है. तो मुझे लगता है कि it's so magical to be able to do that, you know. That makes your film timeless. Like I just hope that tomorrow we've tried to inculcate few things like that. लेकिन अब इतना layers और details में काम किया कि film में निकल गया. But I just hope people watch our film and they will say कि भाई you know उसमें ये झलक दिखता है कि उस टाइम में क्या था और बीच में जो ट्रांजिशन हो रहा था वो भी देखने को मिला without that being the primary story. So yeah, so this filmmakers and I like Chantal Ackerman. Though I've only watched two of her films. The one with the longest name, I was like, when I watched that film, I was like, what was this woman thinking? You know, uh, that and of course, when I was in film school, people told me watch Tarkovsky, watch Kurosawa, watch Satyajit Ray. I was like, I will not do what you guys are telling. I will find myself how good they are. But as soon as I came out of the institute, I watched every single film. मतलब कुरोसावा का इकरू आई थिंक मैंने नहीं देखा था तब बट मुझे इतना सही लगा एंड देन यू नो सत्यजीत रे तो आई थिंक अपराजितो इज no Mahanagar is one of my favorite films. I think I mean of course Apu trilogy, no questioning that. Uh, so yeah, and Tarkovsky, I really like Stalker a lot. I mean, Mirror, obviously. So when I was in film school, people used to say Mirror is a masterpiece. So every day I was like, I have to find out why Mirror is. And then how, as a kid, you're watching a film. आप ऐसे ही देखते हो ना कि अच्छा ये हो रहा है तो नेक्स्ट सीन में ये हो रहा है तो इसका मतलब क्या है, मतलब ये जीनियस क्या कहना चाहता है. So I did that for I think continuously 3 weeks. Every day I fell asleep. Every single day I fell asleep, and it was like a मेरे सोने का दवा है कि मैं देखूं और मुझे नींद आ जाती थी. And it was much later in life that I read Time Within Time, and there he had written about how people loved this film and how they watched it. And then when I went back, I really felt like that is one of the most important films. So so yeah, so that and Stalker. So all classic examples. Now I have totally become this narrative driven. I like all kind of this kind of directors. But yeah, I think it's really great, to have examples like this. Otherwise, इंडस्ट्री में तो बॉलीवुड और हॉलीवुड देख के ना इंसान पक जाता है कि भाई ऐसा ही डायरेक्टर बनना चाहिए ना. सो इट्स सो गुड टू just believe in what you do and do it honestly and live a life of dignity कि भाई तुम्हें अटेंशन ये सब से दूर रहो, आराम से अपना फिल्म बनाओ और ऐसे कि लोग वेट कर रहे हैं यार. So when I was making my first film, I always thought after the film school, I thought, oh, people are waiting for my film. Then I realized nobody waits, nobody cares. खुद बनाओ भाई. So for this masters, I'm like when I'm just waiting कि भाई जेलान अब और 4 फिल्में बनाए कुछ कुछ होने से पहले. So yeah.
So when can we expect the film in India?
We are so right now again, like I told that strategy, like you'll have European premiere, you'll have Asian premiere, you'll have this that. So hopefully we will have a Indian premiere this year only. Because that is the plan. Because people here in Sikkim are like they are like इतने बार news में देखते हो लेकिन film नहीं आती है. So I'm like we are trying to bring it as soon as possible because I think that way it'll be good for the also, कि फेस्टिवल में गया है और आएंगे. I don't need to spend a lot of money in publicity doing this that. I think it will do justice to itself. So yeah, hopefully sometime this year the film should be out here also.
Okay, brilliant. So my last question is like there are a lot of aspiring filmmakers like me. So any advice for them if they want to become a filmmaker from your journey?
No, 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 don't come to this area. Don't come to this area. No, I think if you now I think if you want to really become a filmmaker, you have to understand. I think there are films that you truly want to. There are stories that you want to tell, and there are stories that time or the market wants you to tell. You know, and to able to balance this out, to able to make choices with convictions. I think you really need understanding of cinema. So so if you कि आप इस गलतफहमी में मत आना that you will just be able to tell what you want to tell. That I've understood after making this film. There are so many factors that this thing, but if uh, thankfully I have been able to just do what I wanted to do with my first film. So I think the most important thing that nobody told me and everybody told me was to read books. You know, like Werner Herzog says, like read 13 times, or you travel the world. Before you make them. So I think that has been really helpful for me, especially Russian literature. Chekhov and Dostoevsky, they have really helped me in terms of writing. I cannot tell, I think for other, this thing, I can only speak that if you want to be director or writer, I think these are the things that not necessarily you have to go to film school, but I think you need to do a lot of reading and a lot of watching films because I have seen a difference between a filmmaker who's well read and who's not. Not necessarily you have to read about this that, but उनका सिनेमा का अंडरस्टैंडिंग समझ में आ जाता है कि एक इंसान ने लाइफ के बारे में लिटरेचर के बारे में सोसाइटी के बारे में कितना पढ़ा है. तो या